only 6 weeks. Oh, hello there.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us once again this week.
We're drunk Doctor Who. Our first in 4 weeks. No more heroes and villains or missing for a bit.
Our hiatus is over. We're now in the next season of...
Nah.
What season are we on?
For Doctor Who, we're on season 15.
For Drunk Doctor Who. Also season 15.
Okay, whatever. Alright.
3? It was about 5 seasons a year.
Yeah. Okay, so what are you drinking tonight?
Today I'm drinking light twisted tea because I'm watching my figure.
Wait, there's light twisted tea? It actually does say light
Apparently.
twisted tea.
And it has 0 nutritional facts on the can. That's all their cans do. They never tell you how many calories are in it, so you gotta go to the website. I just wanted to see if I could taste the difference, and you can.
You can?
Yeah, I thought it's not like sweet. There's not a whole lot of sugar in it, so I was wondering like what makes it light. But it's just a lot more thinner, like they removed carbs or something. So
I don't know.
It tastes very light, more watered down. It probably just has
I'm
more
drinking
water.
Cat Morgan Spice Rum. Yay! Right. Today we are talking about the key to time, 5th serial, The Power of Kroll.
So there's only 6 in this?
6. There was 6 segments of the key to time.
We're almost on the season finale.
Yep. Next week will be our season finale.
6 episodes? 6.
Yeah, next week, season finale, 6 episodes. Okay.
You heard it here first, folks.
There you go.
Make sure to tune in for our season finale.
Oh wait, next week. Did you want to do this on Tuesday?
Possibly. I'll check my schedule.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because we're doing the... Wait, that's Sunday. Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll
Next
figure
Monday is
something out.
Alyssa's and I's anniversary.
Yeah. We were supposed to be watching... Oh no, I'm thinking of your birthday. I get everything confused. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. My birthday is 2 weeks hence from the anniversary.
You guys getting the Lever's pasta deal for 2 meal?
Maybe.
Is that an annual tradition? That's what I'm on keto for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but
it's a good deal.
You're gonna eat by yourself.
Now I get 2 meals for 1 person.
Okay. All right. Anyway,
that's why I have to drink the light twisted tea.
So this is our 102nd episode, The Power of Kroll. Today is August 29th, 2022. Number of episodes 4. They were aired from December 23rd, 1978 to January 13th, 1979. Companions are K9 and Romana, although to be fair, you never see K9.
You don't even hear him. His voice actor's on vacation.
Yeah.
As well as the little person that they stick inside the costume.
This is not a little person. This is not...
I'm sorry, the child. Oh.
Not Argentina. Right. Antagonists are Kroll.
It's like Snowpiercer. You need time. That's why I felt... Okay, so I'm replacing the starter on my Honda Civic, and morally, I've always been against child labor, but now I kind of, it's a really tight space. If I had like a 12-year-old's forearm, like it'd be no problem. So I didn't really understand the argument for child labor, but now I kind of get it.
You buy the kids some pizza and they'll fix it for you.
I started soliciting like kids in my neighborhood. Like I got some candy. Do you think?
I don't think I would lead with a sentence like that.
You break this bolt on that. Like, you come bust this nut on me.
I would definitely not leave with a sentence like that. Oh my gosh.
So I didn't.
Okay, good.
It took me about half an hour and I couldn't feel my right arm anymore, but I got the nut broke.
Oh my gosh. Alright. Okay, so in theory this should be a short serial. Probably won't be. In theory it should be short because this is a very, very incredibly straightforward serial.
I mean, 4 episodes.
Boom, 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 boom.
They were full episodes, though. I got a full page of notes.
But the recaps were fairly long.
They were long recaps, but they still felt like really well paced out. Like there's a lot of information in every scene. You're right, though. It is very straightforward in terms of plot.
Boom to boom to boom to boom to boom. You know.
But I feel like they dropped some bombshells on us in terms of, backstory. The doctor gave us a timeline. He said he's nearly 760 years old.
790, wasn't it?
I thought he said 7. Nearly 760.
No, you took physical notes. I'm willing to go with that. Alright, so nearly like 760, not a bad age. Alright.
I feel like it's because he had a 500-year-old journal, and he's kind of hinted at he's getting close to like 800 before or something. So that feels a little bit more dialed in. Do you think that's accurate, or is he being a little generous with his age? You think?
There are actually a lot of debates on that.
Okay, yeah.
His age changes from the old stuff to the new stuff. It actually decreases. And the big theory is that he counted his age in Gallifreyan years, and then after Gallifrey's gone, he counts his age in Earth years. So the Earth years are longer, so he's younger.
So here's my theory: do you think all the regenerations are in order?
Yes.
What? Does it show them all in order as he regenerates?
Yes, with one exception.
So you don't think there's a possibility to where maybe he was Troughton, and then he regenerated into Baker, and then he regenerated into Hartnell?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
Not in this universe.
But you know, time's relative. He travels in time. Don't see all the adventures. Maybe he was older.
We see all the regenerations.
Maybe the new Doctor Who stuff is a prequel.
We see all the regenerations. There's only a couple of breaks, 2 to 3.
Especially
you don't see the direct regeneration, but you see the end result.
Right, especially going from we had the canceled animated one where they went from the revival stuff. Like we don't see a direct transition into the regeneration there, right? What if this is a previous set of regenerations?
Alright, hold on. Should be a short podcast. Should. Alright.
I like to speculate things I haven't seen yet. I have a lot of questions.
You generally see the connections between each of the regenerations directly. A little bit of a discontinuity between 2 and 3, but otherwise it's here's the face, here's the next face.
Okay.
They even bring back the 7th Doctor into the TV movie to directly regenerate into the 8th Doctor.
Oh.
The only exception is we do not see 8 regenerate into 9.
That's the revival period?
Okay,
That's between the old and the new stuff.
8 is the TV movie McGann right there.
Yeah, look here. He only had one. He didn't have it like any seasons.
Right, he just had the TV movie. When we see him, we do not see him regenerate into Eccleston, into the new stuff, because they weren't 100% sure that they wanted direct continuation or a revival or a reboot. So eventually decided it was a revival. But they fixed that gap by regenerating from him into the War Doctor, and the War Doctor basically into Eccleston.
Do we see War Doctor into Eccleston?
They show most of it.
Okay.
Right as the War Doctor's regenerating, Eccleston didn't want to be there, and they don't quite show the fate. They show just the very beginnings of it. But yeah, it fixed that disconnect directly.
I guess I'll have to wait until I can see it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come up with all sorts of fan theories. I'm gonna write out this whole prequel theory.
All right, first of all, how many deaths do we have?
I counted 8, but
that sounds correct.
That's accurate.
Yeah, no, it sounds correct. You got the
a lot of people getting sucked off to death.
You got the old guy, the colonel.
The first one was the gun malfunction. The gun exploded. I don't know if he died or not, but
it seems like he died. And then Kroll.
He did scream in agony.
Right, but the last one was the
spoiler. It was Thawne.
But the one before that was the colonel guy, right? The captain.
I thought Thawne was the captain. He had a first name, last name, so it was something Thawne, and then they kept calling him.
No, but wait.
Oh, you're talking about the chief, the Ranquin.
Ranquin was the last one.
Yeah.
Ranquin was the last one.
You got
Thawne was just before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He got stabbed by the spear.
All right. So the Dr. Romana.
Did I count?
Everything opens, and there seem to be 4 guys in a control station for a refinery.
Yes.
And
Bagel.
Huh?
Apparently,
Bagel.
a bagel.
Yeah, Baygul.
There's a bay, and then there's a goal to the bay, but they use it as one word, bagel.
Goal.
And we got very confused.
I think it's the bottom of everything. Anyway, so these guys were finding methane from this moon, the third moon of Delta Major?
Magna.
Delta Magna.
They think it's the third moon of Delta Magna.
Alright, anyway, so these guys are mining methane and protein and shooting it back to the main planet, Delta Magna.
These are Earth colonists.
Right, from way back when.
Yeah.
They're humans, anyway.
There's also the green people. They call the swampies. I don't know if we ever got a technical term for them, but...
No, even the subtitles list swampies.
So I'm assuming it's not derogatory, so I'm going to say swampies.
It's fairly derogatory.
They definitely are very prejudiced against the swampies.
Right. There's a whole bunch of underlying subtext of colonialism and anti-colonialism within this serial.
Like Native American type allegory. Because we have the swampies, who were the native inhabitants of Delta Magna. Then you have the Earth colonists come over to Delta Magna, and they kick them off at Delta Magna onto a moon as their reservation. But then, of course, like Manifest Destiny, it's like, well, now we want that land too, because they found they could harvest a whole ton of protein for the methane for some reason on this Delta Magna moon. Even though the swamp shouldn't have been producing that much methane.
It was. And so they go and they start processing it. Anyway.
Yeah. That's the entry into our conflict.
So Thawne is this prototypical, long-faced, British colonel-esque captain of the refinery.
Some inbreeding went on there with the...
Oh, he's just long, but
it was very much a... Who's that one guy who had a gigantic chin because of inbreeding? You know, the paintings? Something to do with inbreeding in your chins, but like the royal families, he's probably some descendant of some king. He had that chin, the royal chin, because of all the nobles.
Big solid chin.
Yeah.
Not quite like Jaws in Thunderball or anything, but he had a big solid chin.
Oh.
All right. So anyway,
Jaws, like in James Bond.
Yeah. That Jaws.
What's the name of that movie?
Thunderball, I think. Right. But he actually, I think, comes back in it.
Was Jaws? Yeah, he was in like 2 movies.
Yeah, he was in 2.
He was a popular character.
Yeah,
he was in GoldenEye?
I don't think so. That was much later. He was mostly...
He's in GoldenEye, the video game. No, he's not in GoldenEye. He was in Octopussy? He gets sucked up to that magnet and they're out on the ocean. Goldfinger, I think he was in Goldfinger. Doctor No?
Doctor No's way too early.
I'm just going to list every single
Okay. Alright. So anyway,
my favorite? Odd Job. He has a hat. Yeah.
That'd be an interesting debate. Favorite Bond villain.
Who's your favorite? Oh, I know yours. Yours is Zinnia. Zinit. What's her name?
What?
It's very Russian. The hot Russian chick from GoldenEye. It's spelled X, so we always called it Xena, but I think it's Xenia. Xenia.
I do like hot Russian chicks, but
you remember GoldenEye? Pierce Brosnan.
Vaguely.
Natalia.
Vaguely.
She was the good hot girl.
As opposed to the bad.
Xenia was the evil yeah.
Alright.
Oh, my favorite James Bond villain is the sumo wrestler that's constricting Sean Connery to death. So Sean Connery, to get out of this anaconda squeeze, he reaches down and digs into the sumo wrestler's butt cheeks. And he goes, and he lets him... So there is a James Bond movie where Sean Connery is just really groping the sumo wrestler's butt cheeks.
That's your favorite Bond. Okay.
What would you do? So what happens in the serial letter?
So apparently these guys are mining this stuff on this planet, sending it back. The Captain Thawne just got back from the planet, brought some stuff for some of the guys. The Doctor and Romana show up in the TARDIS, and they're going through the swamp. It's very swampy. All right, and they're looking for the key of time, the fifth segment.
Yes.
And the key part isn't working so well.
Is
the tracer.
The last one, or
no, the sixth one.
There's 6 segments. Yeah, right. They're not sure why the
tracer's not working that well.
It could be the planet's light gravity because they're on a moon, or
atmosphere. Maybe it's faulty, whatever. So anyway,
science jargon.
Yeah, science jargon. So the Doctor decides to sit down for a minute and make a reed to play some music. Romana keeps looking for the key of time, the piece of the key of time, and while she's doing that, she gets captured by.
They split the party. Always a good idea.
Yeah, never a good idea. So they do that, and Romana gets captured by the Swampies, and
Rom Dutt, weapon runner.
Is he not an antagonist?
He seems kind of impartial to me.
Yeah,
I was gonna write like every single character on the board, and I'm like, I'll just leave it at Kroll.
Okay. So Ron Dutt is this gun runner, and he's running guns from the planet for supposedly the children of Earth.
Yeah, that's like
Sons of Earth.
So you have the colonizers who hate the Swampies, and then you have people that value all life that originated from Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that means the Swampies came from Earth, but they're green.
No,
I don't know. That's how they said all life is precious. So you have the Sons of Earth, are these advocates for the indigenous people of this planet.
Right.
So that's
but they're not the ones who actually ended up sending the guns anyway. So they've captured Romana. The Doctor ends up being captured by Thawne and the other men from the station. They take him back, force him back by point of gun.
After they try to shoot him.
Right, to answer some questions. Yeah, they try to shoot him, they just get his hat. They ask him questions. He proves to them that he has superior technological knowledge because he tells them all the devices in this place, even though it's supposedly cutting edge.
Verbatim, what was that he said?
Verbatim?
Yeah.
No clue. Alright. So he convinces them finally that he, at least reasonably convinces him that he is from another constellation, that he's from outside of their knowledge. In the meantime, Romana is being sacrificed to Kroll, and she meets Rom Dole, right?
Rom Dutt.
She meets Rom Dutt, and he's like,
but.
And she's like, well, wait a minute. I'm a female, and they're going to sacrifice me. Don't you care? And he's like, no, I'm indifferent.
There are no swampy women.
Yeah, they're only men.
Which makes me think that they reproduce asexually. I think they're like the Orokai, and they give birth from like mud pods because they live in.
Who knows? It's not shown. But
I wish it was.
I don't think they could have shown the women based on what the men were wearing.
Sure. I mean, have you seen what our last companion was wearing?
Leela? Okay. Well, yeah. But at least she had a top. Okay, in this thing, the Swampies are wearing basically loincloth flaps, showing a good bit of butt cheek, and they're painted green. They've got the green, kind of like the Wicked Witch of the West kind of green.
What's his name?
But not as toxic.
The original.
Oh, the Hulk. Yeah.
What was his name? They just painted.
This would know, yeah. But anyway, so they're green, and they apparently worship Kroll, and so they, this Gomdot or whatever.
Rom Dutt.
Ramdit. He's like, yeah, cooperate. Tell me what I need to know. And Romana's telling him the truth, but he doesn't believe it because he believes she's from the refinery. Because she and the doctor really shouldn't be on this moon, otherwise. And he eventually goes, okay, we're not going to cooperate. And they start to sacrifice her to Kroll.
Yes. Because Ramdut gave the Swampies guns, and they wanted to use the guns to drive out the colonists from the methane refinery. And they believe it's good luck to make a blood sacrifice to their Kroll god
before the battle. Yeah. And so there's a very, very King Kong-esque tie up, beat the drums, shake the spears, and sacrifice her bit, which goes on for a while. And in the meantime, the doctor has escaped from the refinery. He slips out, and so does their servant, Mensch, at the refinery. Mensch uses Morse code flashlight to warn the Swampies of what's coming, the attack at dawn. And the doctor gets out, takes one of their skiffs, tries to rescue Romana.
Skiff sounds like a slur, right?
No, a skiff is a very small boat, like a canoe.
It sounds like
bigger than a canoe.
A dirty word.
Skiff?
Do you think aircraft carriers call other boats skiffs as like a derogatory term?
No idea. Ask Shannon. He's in the Navy. Alright. Yeah.
It sounds like a dirty word, right? It's a 4-letter word?
It's a 5-letter word.
Yeah. You know what they say about 4-letter words? 5-letter words. 5 letters is the new 4 letters, right?
No.
I never understood why they say it's a 4-letter word. Do they say that? Is that a phrase because most curse words are 4 letters?
Yes.
Okay. Skiff is a 5-letter word.
There are a few curse words that are 5 letters, but most of them are 4-letter words.
So.
Alright. So, they finish the ritual, they're praying to Kroll, they close the deal, and this claw hand thing comes at Romana. You don't see much of it. End of episode 1.
Pinches her cheeks.
Right. End of episode 1. Alright, do you have any questions for episode 1?
So the TARDIS materialized in the colonists, shoot on sight, no entry zone.
Right, no trespassing.
Which is fairly common. That happens a lot, where they materialize somewhere where they're being shot at immediately. Do you feel like there would be some sort of coding in the materialization of the TARDIS where it tries to find a safe spot to materialize? It's supposed to blend into its environment, but it's stuck as a TARDIS.
Well, that's because the chameleon circuit is broken, yeah.
But it just materializes anywhere. Sometimes it materializes falling off a cliff, it's
once.
It's at once.
And it's materialized 2 feet deep in water. Once.
It's not very good at picking spots to materialize. I guess it's the doctor piloting it, or because you kind of hinted at the TARDIS materializes where it wants to, because it's semi-sentient.
It is completely sentient.
Yeah. And then
you will see that later on.
You have the Time Lords that materialize the doctor into places. You have the doctor materialize himself into places, but it's always... I just feel like there should be some sort of safety net there for where the TARDIS chooses to materialize. Not at all.
No.
So that brings me to another thing that I've never seen before, but you hinted at it, so I want to ask questions about it, is the... what's it called? The translation circuit?
Yeah, the TARDIS translates things, yeah.
Yeah. So is that...
Okay, in the old days, everyone just spoke English, and you accepted it.
Yeah.
In the modern stuff, it's explained that the TARDIS translates everything to cover the old and the new stuff.
So, we also see 2 of the Swampies using Morse code to communicate to each other.
Yeah, with the light.
And we don't know if that's like Morse code that they learned from the Earth colonizers, or is it their own language? Would the TARDIS translate Morse code, or sign language, or just verbal language? or written language?
Probably verbal and written, but it doesn't translate everything, and apparently it doesn't translate Morse code. Later,
like we've seen it come across a language it wasn't. At least that was our modern day explanation.
There's a couple of cases where there are certain languages that the TARDIS does not translate, such as Jadoon.
Jadoon? That's what they speak on Dune, right?
No. Jadoon or Rhinoceros Police. I kid you not. They're Rhinoceros Police.
That's one of my favorite tribes in Magic the Gathering.
Jadoon or Rhinoceros Police.
Azorius Rhino.
In Magic, it's the Elephant People.
The Elephant People.
Yeah.
Matt has an elephant tribal deck, I think.
Oh, there you go.
So it doesn't. You don't think it would translate like Morse code or
there's
sign
just
language?
a few things it does not translate Old Gallifreyan because it assumes that the Doctor can understand it. Doesn't translate Jadoon. There's just a few things it doesn't, but most things it does. But it doesn't do Morse code apparently.
Yeah, just like verbal and.
Written.
Well, we don't know if it translated Morse code because we don't speak Morse, so we couldn't read it. So we didn't know if it was English alphabet or maybe a swampy alphabet. So I don't know if it translates that.
But if they all come from Earth, hopefully it's English anyway.
Yeah, I just don't know where the Swampies came. I think the Swampies were indigenous of.
But were they?
Magna.
But they're green, so they're slightly different. Were they indigenous originally, just humanoid?
I have no idea.
or were they early settlers that then became indigenous, and then the other settlers came?
Because that was the one of the people on the refinery ended up kind of being a child of Earth.
No, he just didn't hate the Swampies the way the other guys did.
I mean, I feel like he was a child of Earth because he was using the same language that they did. He said, the children of Earth say that all life that originates from Earth is, life that originates from Earth, all life is sacred. And I don't know if he was hinting at that the Swampies originally came from Earth or just their overall.
Yeah. But you don't have to be a hippie to not like nuclear weapons, there's just certain things that you don't have to be full-throated this.
So he's kind of like a moderate.
Yeah, it's like, I don't like violence. Doesn't make me a pacifist particularly. I will use it in self-defense, but I don't like it,
So he was quoting, he was at least, we don't know if he was a moderate.
All right.
We don't.
What were the names of the four guys on the refinery?
So we have Thawne as
the captain.
We have Finner,
who I think is the most interesting of the characters.
He was, I liked him a lot too. Yeah. He was kind of the chart man, second in command.
He was kind of the second command, kind of a science guy, whereas Thawne was completely militaristic.
We have Minch, who was the swampy man that they use as a manservant.
Mm-hmm. Who seemed to be a bit of a spy.
Mm-hmm. And we have Dugeen, who is kind of like the lower ranking
the comms guy.
Yeah.
And then who's the guy that gets killed?
Harg.
Okay.
Was the first one to die, and he was originally the sonar monitor guy.
Something like that. Alright, so anyway, episode 2, the Doctor shows up, and the clawing thing going after Romana is a guy in a suit. One of the Swampies in a suit. The Doctor runs up. He looks like a giant mushroom. And the Doctor runs up, takes off the mushroom head, hits the guy real hard in the stomach, kind of knocks the wind out of him.
Every time he does that, it looks like he's shaking him because he does this, and it's usually obscured by a bunch of clothing, and the guy sounds like he gets stabbed. He's punched like 2 or 3 people in the gut like that, and they all go, ugh, and then fall over. I'm like, did he just shank that guy? Because later when he makes an escape, he pockets a piece of glass that never comes up again.
That's much later. But we've seen the Doctor use swords, mostly in defense, but we've seen him use swords. But I'm not sure if I can ever remember him using simply a dagger or a knife as a weapon.
Like he's gutted people with a cane before.
The Romans, yeah. But can't remember a knife. Anyway,
he's carried guns before.
Yeah. All right. So
I hate guns. What is it? Oh, I changed my mind. Give me a gun.
There's a time in the future where that'll be really poignant.
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 Why do you say it like a Boston?
I don't know. Poignant.
Poignant. Go to the park. Get your khakis.
Alright, so the doctor knocks out the guy, saves Romana.
Do you say methane or methane?
They do. They say methane in this. The Brits.
Do they have a big meth problem there?
I have no idea.
A lot of people smoking meth.
Alright, so the doctor saves Romana. He and Romana are talking for a good amount of time about what's going on.
Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Where did he come from?
I took your rook with my knight.
You did?
Week. Well,
I didn't know my rook was exposed.
I had your 2 knights forked.
So this guy was here.
I had your 2 rooks forked with my knight.
Oh.
You moved your rook forward. I
did.
took the other one.
I did. Okay.
So it is your turn.
Well, I had no idea. I should pay better attention. So I have to take the knight here.
Pretty
That's really
much.
my only move. Alright. I'm gonna go bathroom.
Okay, you go to the bathroom.
You think about your move. I'll be back.
Okay, good. I will actually try to get through an episode or 2. Alright.
You'll be almost done with episode 2 by the time.
Depends on how long you take. Alright, so the doctor and Romana are speculating a bunch of things about Kroll. And they end up finding a pit. And they go down in the pit and they find a book. And the book mentions, it's an ancient book from when the people came over from the planet to settle the moon. And it talks about Kroll. And the script isn't great, but the pictures are. And it shows that Kroll's a giant squid. And they worship Kroll. And Kroll shows up every couple of hundred years because it has a long sleeping cycle. And the sleeping cycle, it stays at the bottom of the bay and just sleeps. But every couple hundred years it shows up, and it's shown up like 3 times. So we found out that Kroll was part of a giant squid thing that was brought from the planet because people liked it. But we find out that Kroll swallowed a piece of power, an artifact of power. That's what makes it so Cthulhu-esquely gigantic. So the doctor and Romana have escaped, and they're moving back, and they're trying to get back to the refinery. In the meantime, while they're trying to get to the refinery, they get recaptured, or they get captured by the Swampies. And Kroll and the main high priest of the Swampies, he's like, okay, we're going to attack the main bad guys, i.e. the people running the refinery. So the people running the refinery have decided that they're going to kill the Swampies because they believe that the one guy's brought them guns, which he actually has. The problem is that the guns that he has sold them are old, decrepit, and will explode on them. And this is actually shown. They lay an ambush for the guy, and they fire the gun. The gun explodes in the guy's face, which is actually, which is actually our first death, right? When the gun explodes in the guy's face. Right. So, gun explodes in the guy's face. It's our first death.
Do you ever consider like a more intimate podcasting set? Like what if you could only afford one couch? Would you ever consider maybe like a... No? Okay.
You're the wrong gender, sir.
Wrong gender?
Well, if you're a female, I might consider a more intimate couch.
Well, how about this? Would you ever consider changing something up, like us swapping spots? I wouldn't be able to convince you to like do a switcheroo with me one week.
Did we do that on April Fool's Day?
No. I think I brought it up
Incredibly briefly or something? No.
I think we started off and then switched back.
We did, yeah, but I'm saying, anyway. Alright, So this guy.
This is the answer, no.
Nah, we're good.
What if I was in a car accident, right? Like Mark Hamill, horribly disfigured on one side of my on this side of my face.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, Hatter, I really just want to sit. I want us to trade so I can sit this way while this half of my face is, obscured. Because I'm self-conscious of my new Mark Hamill car accident scars. Would you switch with me then?
We'll see.
You're clever.
Oh, good. Jelly baby.
This one's raspberry flavored.
All right. So anyway, they try to attack the guy and sabotage him.
I thought you'd say yes.
Ambush him. And they shoot the gun. The gun explodes. We have our first death. The doctor and Malna are trying to get away.
It was a trick question.
Oh, there you go. Anyway, they're trying to get away.
I
haven't made my
okay.
move.
I'm smoking meat. Chess pieces are moving on their own.
So the doctor and Malna try to get away, and they're being hunted. They get caught, and they decide, okay.
We're on 2?
We're on 2. Okay, so you weren't gone that long.
I was gone for hours.
No.
Ages.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, surely he's done by now. We were talking. Oh, listen for me. Is Lou Ferrigno was the
Lou Ferrigno? Yes, original Hulk. Yep.
Painted in green.
I told you she'd know.
Mm-hmm,
all right. So in 2. You think that the doctor and Romana are going to be executed as the big high thing, but the actual cliffhanger is the giant monster shows up, kills a guy, eats him.
That's the end of episode 3. Episode 2 ends where the guy gets sucked through the pipe.
Right, but doesn't Kroll show up before then?
Episode 3 ends with Kroll showing up as they're running away through
Right,
the swamp.
but doesn't Kroll show up and kill Mensch in episode 2?
Yes.
Yeah. So episode 2, Kroll shows up. Yeah, grabs Mensch, and Thrawn is like, sees this giant through the West Kroll.
Mensch is a German word.
Yeah.
It means in like a lower class. More.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I get it now.
It's fitting for that. It's like I said.
I don't think that was his native name.
Who knows, but there's a whole bunch of colonialism, anti-colonialism subtext in this serial. It's not even blatant. It's just boom, boom, boom.
Do you know the full it's like München something. Münchengrad.
No.
Mensch something.
My German is sparse at best, and my Yiddish is non-existent.
I just now got that.
Okay.
I got with it.
Alright, so anyway, we have our first...
Did you say Yiddish?
Yiddish.
Shalom, shalakum.
Alright. Yiddish is a combination of more modern Judaism combined with a bunch of Eastern influences, such as German and other things.
Because Jewish used to be a language?
Well, it's not called Jewish.
It was called Hebrew.
Hebrew, right.
Hebrew was
right.
the language.
There's ancient Hebrew and modern Hebrew mixed with other stuff is called Yiddish.
So those are what's the difference between a Hebrew and a Jew?
Nothing. Hebrew is the language they speak. And Hebrew is the type of people, but a Jew is also usually, they also call them Jews.
So Hebrew is more of a birth thing, and Jew is more of a religious.
I don't
because
know.
there's Gentiles and there's Jews, and
Jews and
you can be
Gentiles.
born in Hebrew, but you had to be religiously adopted into being Jewish, I think.
I don't know. I don't think so.
As long as you're not a Gentile, because I can't stand Gentiles.
Right. Okay. Alright. So anyway, at the end of episode 2, the Doctor and Monitor are picked up. Thawne manages to make his way back to the base. He gets there and he's like, this giant squid thing, it was huge, it was so huge. And the other guys don't necessarily believe him, but he's like, we've got to kill it, we've got to kill it. And they're sitting there, they're trying to figure out a way how to kill it. And what's his face goes into the pipe room.
I think it was Harg.
Harg goes in the pipe room. The giant tentacle comes up, busts its way out of the giant pipe, grabs him, and he screams and then gets sucked into the pipe for the tentacle to eat. And you literally think the episode's going to end with the Dr. and Mana being killed, but it doesn't. It actually doesn't. Instead, the cliffhanger's on Harg.
Getting sucked out through the pipe.
Sucked into the pipe.
Yes. That's it. Episode 3.
Okay, did you have any questions about episode 2?
I think I do. We talked about the TARDIS materialization, restricted zones, Native American allegory.
I think more African, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Does the chameleon circuit translate only verbal language? Nope, that was my only question for 2.
Okay, episode 3. Yeah, they no longer like Gomdot or whatever his name is. Romdet. They no longer like him. They end up taking him, the Doctor, and Romana, and they've decided to give them the 7th death. The 7th ritual.
There's 7 holy rituals on how they sacrifice people to the powers of Kroll. The first one is they throw them down that hole that they found the book
and just throw the rocks in until they die.
And the last one is what they're about to experience. I don't know which one Romana was initially going to experience. Let's call that number 2. So what do you think the other 4 are?
I have no earthly idea.
I thought 7 was very creative. Now they have progressive amounts of agonizing death. So the one being thrown down the well and having, being stoned to death, that's supposed
quick,
to be,
at least.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the least painful. But they have been sentenced to the number 7, which is the most agonizing, which I thought was really creative. It kind of reminds me of the bamboo torture. They tie them to a rack and they tie them up with vines. And as the vines dry out, they shrink.
Contract.
Yeah, they contract. So it stretches them until they die or asphyxiate from the...
But no, they're torn apart. Their vertebrae are torn apart to the fact where they just...
I imagine they'd probably suffocate before that.
I don't think so.
There's only so far until you can't breathe anymore. That's how crucifixion works. That's why you break your knees, because you'd suffocate before you'd ever bleed to death. Which I thought for sure you would bleed to death first, because they used to drive those railroad spikes through your forearm. So it's amazing they could do that without hitting an artery or something.
Well, sometimes they would, but they might close it up. Who knows?
Oh yeah, they might cut it. Romans were excellent at executing people. It's not. It's not
lots
a great
of practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Man, were they proficient?
Okay. So anyway, the Doctor, Romana, and Gomdop, or whatever his name is. Romdet. They get tied into this ritual to kill them with the vines.
Australian.
Yeah. The Doctor sitting there and he asks a bunch of questions. You don't know where he's going. And he finds out about Kroll and the artifact that Kroll swallowed and all this stuff that made him so big. And he finds out about the Sons of Earth, several other things. And eventually he decides the window in front of him shouldn't be there. He's going to fire the architect, but he, after everyone else leaves and they're being stretched and stretched and stretched, he hits a note, shatters the window, and allows this big rainstorm in. And the rainstorm hits the vines and allows them to expand so they can escape.
They're wet again. He also tried questioning the priest to draw him in so he could hypnotize him, but his eyes were too narrow.
Too beady, yeah.
So he couldn't hypnotize him. He also discovered that I don't know if we talked about this yet, but it was actually Thawne that.
Thawne. This is in here right now.
He commissioned.
He commissioned Ramdot to bring the guns, to blame the Sons of Earth, and so that Thawne had an excuse to wipe out the Swampies.
So it
really
retaliation.
Yeah, really not a good guy.
And the guns were faulty. So yeah, he's looking for any excuse to try to kill the natives.
Right, really, really bad. Okay, keep going to episode 3. I'm going to write down our stuff for the season 15 deal.
So we see the doctor pull out a skill we've never really seen before, as apparently he has the lungs of a fat lady, because he resonates with the window pane to the point where he hits that note and it shatters the glass.
Right.
It sounds very strange, with like an alien vocal cord.
Okay, you've never heard me do that, have you?
Oh, no, you were telling me about break a glass for me, Hatter.
No.
Hatter hits a high note. Can we do it on the podcast? Will you show the podcast people?
Let me see if I can do it.
I don't know if the mic will pick it up.
Let me see if I can do it while I'm drunk.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's my high note.
There's like verbal frequencies, and then it hits like a frequency that you can't hear, but it like makes my eardrum vibrate.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's gonna carry through on the microphone.
But that's my high note. I don't know why I can do that, but I can do that. And I don't do it very often, but...
I don't think YouTube's gonna pick up that decibel, but...
All right. If you can hear... Oh, thank you.
I want to express to them how my experience.
You did not expect that from me, did you?
Have you ever broken a glass?
Not through that. I've broken glasses like but you did not expect that, did you?
I didn't expect that. No.
It's a clear. It's almost a klaxion note, you know.
Yeah, I heard the verbal note that I could hear. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And then I started like hearing the decibels that I couldn't hear.
You felt the notes above it.
I'm like, oh, that is high.
Right. But I can do that, and when I really want to, I can do that much more of a projection voice.
Yeah.
And it's so shrill and loud.
No one's going to be raping you in a dark alley. You have a built-in...
No one would want to rape me in a dark alley.
No, don't be so hard on yourself, man. You're a good-looking guy.
They shouldn't be that hard on me. Alright. Anyway. Okay. So they get out of the vines.
We get a little silly here after dark.
After drink.
After drink.
After dark, after drink. The storm seems to have gone away. There was a storm this evening, a big one. We were hoping to get some thunder on the podcast, but apparently not.
It looks like it stopped raining.
Right. Continue through episode.
After they break the glass, the rain comes in, it expands the vines because they're no longer drying out. So he unties them and they escape. And they I'm trying to think of what happens to Ramdut. They're making their way through the swamp, which is very risky because outsiders, other than the Swampies, don't really know the secret passages through the swamp. Right. I imagine there's a bunch of like quicksand and stuff. Meanwhile, you have the colonizers back in the refinery. They're picking up radar images of this giant Kroll squid. And Thawne's like, see, I didn't make it up. We have to deal with it. And they're discussing different ways to try to...
It's like 2 miles wide and stuff. Yeah.
Very, very big, tall creature. And they're picking it up. They're like, that can't be a... And they're watching it breathe and its tentacles expand. And they're discussing how to kill it, which is ironic because if they kill it, that's really their source of methane that they're mining.
They don't know that.
They never put 2 and 2 together.
The doctor figures it out. And Romana figures it out.
So they're more preoccupied on how they're going to get rid of it. Thawne's very preoccupied by dropping depth charges. Meanwhile, the storm blows over and the Swampies come back out because the storms on the third moon of Delta Magna are very harsh, apparently. Like the winds, they said, will rip you apart. So as the storm subsides, the Swampies come back out. They go to the sacrificial holy chamber and realize that, oh no, the sacrifices have escaped again. And the priest Ranquin starts questioning one of the other Swampies. I think his name was Newall. Or
Yeah.
Varlic was the one.
Varlic.
Who was like, why are we following Kroll? He kills us as much as he kills the colonizers. And
right, they realized that Kroll's killing them.
Why are we making sacrifices? And so, because he was questioning that earlier, the priest assumes that he was the one that let them go, and he's like, no, it wasn't me. So.
I'm actually surprised that the priest never said, because he's like, well, they killed Mensch, and I'm surprised the priest never said, well, Mensch was serving the Outworlders.
Yeah.
I mean, that never came up. Yeah,
he's the religious fanatical character who kind of justifies all things through his faith and doesn't really listen to reason.
So the Doctor and Mana are trying to get away with Ramdut.
Yep.
And they're running.
Trying to make it back to the boat that the Doctor took from the refinery.
And they're running through the swamps, and they're being followed by the Swampies.
It's very much James Bond. Start the plane short round, kind of seeing the spears.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, what did I say?
James Bond.
Oh, I'm in Indiana Jones.
So they're running towards everything, and the Doctor stops. He's like, stop. And he looks at the water, and the water's bubbling, and he's like, we're being hunted. And don't move. And then suddenly, you start seeing stuff coming up from the water, and Ramdut just runs off, and a giant tentacle comes out and grabs him and sucks him and takes him away. And then a bunch of the Doctor's like, I told them not to move. And then a bunch of the Swampies come up and they're about to throw spears at the Doctor, and then a tentacle comes up and grabs one of them, takes him away.
The Doctor and Romana are on the boat at this point.
Well, they get in the boat right after that.
Yeah, the creature emerges, and the Doctor says, freeze, don't move. And then he starts moving, and he takes his hat off. And it's like, he's like, don't move a muscle.
I think he meant with the water. So that's the end of episode 3, right?
Yeah.
We get the same recap.
Kroll snacks on another Swampy after Ramdut.
Yep. So, episode 4, the Doctor and Mana managed to make it back to the refinery. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, the Thawne, the captain of the refinery, has the great idea of shooting one of the projected deals they send to the main planet in space.
Yeah, they shoot the protein that they mine from the methane into these space capsules, and they shoot it up to their...
Right. Think magnetic core deals where it shoots up.
Kind of like a rail gun.
Exactly, rail gun. That's what I was looking for. And he's like, okay, train it on the village of the Swampies, because that's the settlement, because that's where the Kroll is going. And what's his name?
Which one? The chief or the
low end guy.
Of the Swampies or
no, the main guys.
Herc died, so it's Finner is the one that you like, and then Dugeen was the one.
Duguen's like, he's this kind of slightly young, nervous engineer. He's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna allow you to shoot the shipment at that, because it will kill all the Swampies. Genocide not happening. No. He's like, but
Finner is not a big fan of the idea. Because it might kill them too. Because the atmosphere is really thin and the fireball.
But even before that, when the
depth
Thawne is talking about that, Finner's like no. He doesn't say it super loud, but he's like, no, this is bad. No. Mm-hmm. He shows a great amount of character depth for self-preservation, but also for morality. Mm-hmm. Not wanting to kill the people, not wanting to kill the thing necessarily. Kroll, he is reasonable and practical.
Where Dugeen is very young and emotional, and emphatically argues on for the sake of preservation of life. Finnerer is much more of a stoic, subtle kind of reserved in stating his opinion. And
Right.
so whenever he does speak, it's much more poignant. Where Duguin's kind of like, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that, and Finnerer is very like, maybe this is the rational thing to do.
Right. So the Doctor and Romana eventually have made it back to the refinery, and quite literally, Thawne is like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna shoot this at the thing. We're gonna kill everybody. Talked about killing two birds with one stone.
Because he's wanted the natives dead.
Right, he doesn't like the natives. He wants them out of the way permanently. And, this was talking about the final solution, right?
Is that a movie reference?
No, it's a reference to the genocide of the Jews in Germany during World War II.
That's what they called it?
The final solution,
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's literally what they called it.
I wonder what the first
I've showed you the
solution
wall,
was.
right?
Yeah, we watched the wall.
The final solution for the Reds and the Jews. It's in the lyrics during the trial.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess I didn't put that together.
It slipped under your radar.
We watched Schindler's List too, and I bawled like a baby.
That and Saving Private Ryan.
I have seen that one.
Okay.
I don't think we ever watched that together. That one didn't make me cry nearly. I didn't cry during that, but Schindler's List.
You've seen the Lord of the Rings movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
everyone.
So the scene in The Return of the King.
Yes.
Where they go, no, you will bow to no one. And Aragorn kneels in front of the hobbits, and everyone else does. I bawl that every
You're tearing up right
time.
now.
I do every time. That gets me. Ugh. Every time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you're crying right now.
No. I'm close, but no. Just thinking about it makes me tear up. All right.
No, I'm a big softie too. I'll cry at any movie.
Anyway, have you ever seen The Champ?
I haven't. Is that a boxing movie?
Yes.
A good one?
Yes. But it is the
movie list?
No.
Oh.
Okay, wait.
Maybe?
Do you want to cry?
I like crying. I like a good cry.
Okay.
Usually I don't need an excuse. I cry a lot.
No. If you want to cry, put The Champ on the list.
The Champ.
The Champ.
Who's in that? I love my movie list today.
Oh my gosh. It is the movie that is scientifically proven the movie that will make you cry. The movie that will make most people cry. Scientifically proven.
Really?
Yes.
I think the hardest I've ever cried in a movie is maybe a tie between Schindler's List and The Notebook.
I have not seen The Notebook.
Oh, it's a doozy.
Okay.
It's ugly crying.
But seriously, they have done studies,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't cry during The Champ,
You're a psychopath.
Exactly, you are a psychopath.
You have no empathy.
Quite literally, you are a psychopath. They've literally done those studies.
I was reading this one study where this professor had this MRI machine, and he had these students, and he was doing this test where he's scanning all his students' brains, because scientifically they kind of located the part of the brain that triggers when you have thoughts of empathy. You're being empathetic, and you're kind of like putting yourself in the shoes of other people. There's a part of your brain that activates when like your empathy's going off. Mm-hmm. And he would show them different videos and images and stuff, and you'd see all the parts of their brain light up when they'd see it, like the puppy or something being pulled out of a well. And then one of them was completely dead. He's like, oh my gosh, I found a psychopath in my class. He has no empathy. And he looked at it and he's like, oh, that's my brain. he discovered that it's not psychopathy, but it's something where people have like zero empathy. And
well, you'd already inundated himself with all those images, so he wasn't going to respond the same way
he did further tests. He is technically one of those medically psychopathic because he doesn't have any empathy, and he leads a totally normal life. He has a family, kids, a wife. He's a college professor, but he just has no empathy for people, and like every
He must be at Yale.
Yeah, maybe. No, every good thing he does, like falling in love and having a wife and kids, like every normal thing he does is all practice. It's all intentional. It's not nature for him. I thought that was a really interesting story. He was just reading all these brain scans. He's like, this guy's a psychopath. Oh, that's my brain. that's how we figured out that, like, man, I have no empathy.
Okay. All right. So eventually, episode 4. Okay. So eventually, the Doctor and Leela, not Leela,
Romana.
Dr. Romana managed to make
Leela
it back to. They managed to make it back to the refinery, and they managed to stop the shipment that's supposed to go up with the railgun that's going to be sent at Kroll and kill all the swampies.
So they stop it manually by going in and
hitting everything with a hammer
and breaking the meanwhile, in the control room, that's where Dugeen is making.
Dugene's like, I will stop you. I will abort this. He hits the red button and he gets shot in the back, murdered by Thawne.
Yeah,
Captain Thawne.
And Finnerer is pulling no punches and telling him that was cold-blooded murder.
Right, he's like, you
had no right to do that.
I would that you do not do that because you suspect somebody being a son of Earth. And he's like I said, he's a great character.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have the spine of Finnerer to watch someone kill someone else and be like, I'm telling on you.
Confront him with that, yeah.
Yeah, I would be like, okay.
So we get back to Earth, yeah.
You killed him. I agree with you. You did the right thing.
And Thawne's like, that may sound great when we get back, but what if we don't get back?
He just looked him dead in the eye. He's like, I'm not a fan of you.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he has a gun. He just shot somebody.
So
balls on Finnerer.
Right. So the Doctor and Romana have shown up. They get captured by Thawne. They get taken into the control room. Like I said, in the old days, this would have been a 6-parter. There are several points that you could have had big cliffhangers that are not episode breaks.
I like the. That's true, yeah, but it also makes it not. Sometimes it's stretched out or like really rush it. Like the pacing was so all over the place, but this way it's very consistent. There's always something happening.
But it's so fast. Yeah.
Something being revealed. Yeah, something plot pivotal. We're always moving forward. I like it. I like the pacing.
So they are captives of Thawne, and then the Swampies show up with their problematic guns.
I think they ditched the guns at this point because they expected.
Oh yeah, they did because they expected them.
So they're just back to spears. They look like stingray
barbs.
Yeah.
They throw one directly into the chest of Thawne. Yes, love to see him go. And then they're talking about all that. And what's his name? The High Priest?
Ranquin.
He's praying to Kroll. He gets snagged from the broken pipe, sucked in. The Doctor thinks that I'm testing a theory. Mm-hmm. He goes with the tracer and he touches Kroll, and it turns out Kroll is the 5th part of the Key of Time.
I think he must have impaled him with.
Kroll disappears, shows up as the 5th part of the Key of Time. So the tracer.
The tracer also turns the segments back into their original crystal form.
Yes, which is what it does here.
Yeah, she used that on the statue to turn the little statue back into the crystal piece. So Kroll is this massive squid.
Right, Cthulhu-esque squid.
It cuts, so we don't really see it happening, but he's reaching towards it. He's being constricted, and he's trying to turn it back into the segment before he gets crushed to death. And then it cuts, and then he walks into the room, and he has the tracer with a crystal impaled on the tracer.
Because each of the pieces have a hole for the tracer.
Oh, they do? I didn't know that. Oh. I've never noticed that.
Okay.
I also noticed that, it zooms out and it shows him just disappear, which was the segment transformed into Kroll, or did Kroll grow bigger because the segment was inside?
Because he devoured it. We don't know.
I don't know
specifically. We do not know. But Kroll basically is the segment.
Because that was my question, because the chameleon circuit of the crystals, it transforms them into stuff. I didn't know if it could transform this segment into an actual creature, or just like if
that'll
it
come
swallowed.
into play later, actually.
We'll find out.
But yeah. So Kroll devoured the power artifact.
Key of Marinus is a woman.
No,
I'm calling it.
No.
I know it. Oh, it's gonna be like Curtis. Sorry, time. There's too many keys.
Two. There's two free. Well, three. Three keys. All right. So anyway, so he's got the key of time. Kroll is gone because he was part of the key of time.
You ever been to Key West?
No.
Why do they call it Key West?
Because they're called keys. It's
Key
the furthest west one.
This is the furthest. This is south. This is the furthest southern point of America, not including. It's not a colony, but what is
Puerto Rico is a territory.
Territory, yeah. It's the furthest southern part. Wait, is that more south than Hawaii? Yeah, I guess. It's very
Key
close.
West is the furthest Key West. It's not the furthest southern point of the U.S. That would be much lower in Hawaii.
So Key West is further.
Florida.
Wait, West is California.
It's the key.
It would be the furthest east. Because it's in Florida. It's in the southern point of Florida. They call it Key West, but it's the most
not the southern point of Florida.
It is?
There are keys, which are islands.
Oh, so there's a Key West and a Key South?
No. I don't know. Okay. Key West is an island out on the western part of Florida.
Yes.
They call those island keys.
Yes.
And it's out there on the west. It's the furthest west key in Florida. It's not the southernmost part of Florida. It's way up here, and it's on to the west.
I thought the West Key was the most southern point of...
No.
What is?
I don't know.
I think it's Key West. It's very close to Cuba.
All right. The Doctor and Mana have the fifth part of the Key of Time, and then what's his name? The guy who's still alive from the front. Finner's like, okay.
It's kind of left to interpretation, right?
Wait, hold on. But Finner goes like, okay, it's about to shoot the thing up into space.
Oh, yeah.
But there's the one that's already there blocking it, because that was the one that the Doctor smashed that was going to hit Kroll. And he's like, okay, so this thing's about to fire, and it'll blow up the entire base when it hits the other one. Yeah. And the Doctor keeps cutting wires until the very last second, 000, he manages to stop it. And it doesn't fire, and everyone survives.
Did he reverse the polarity?
No, he actually didn't. I will take the drink, but he did not reverse the polarity for a change. Anyway, so he stops everything from blowing up.
Saves the day.
And the Doctor and Romana are like, we've got a lot to do. Why don't you, Fenner? Why don't you hang out with the natives? Because the only survivor at this point of that. Hang out with the natives, have fun, and we're off. They go back to the TARDIS. They leave.
Yeah. So here you have these swampies. Sure that Rinquin, who was very anti-colonizers, died because the second in command I don't know if he's the second in command, but Varlick never died, but he was also he was very much questioning the decision to sacrifice these people.
Mm-hmm.
But they also don't look very happy with Finner when they leave Finner, the last colonizer, with the natives.
They're not happy with him.
They don't look. Are they going to sacrifice him?
I don't think they're going to kill him.
They might have killed him because
Kroll's gone.
Yes.
He's a part of the Key of Time.
Mm-hmm.
All of his little, giant squid fishies are done.
Yes. Well, he's germinating when he apparently when he did the key thing and he turned back into the segment. He kind of just disappeared, but maybe he also exploded because they passed the little squids,
right?
And those are gonna grow up. But he says they're not gonna get as big as Kroll because they don't have the key.
Key, right. The power artifact.
Yes.
Okay.
But I think they might have killed Finner.
I don't think so.
I
think they are done with violence. They're done with Kroll, and I think that he would survive until he gets picked up.
So the Doctor is just
he's just a great character.
The Doctor is. I agree. I like Finner. The natives don't really know him. They do know that they've suffered a lot because of the colonizers.
Hmm.
So when the Doctor says,
but also because of Flan, Kroll, and
it's misplaced aggression, right? It's misplaced.
Right.
So they look angry. Finner looks concerned. The Doctor goes, teach them something to replace Kroll, and then he just leaves. And I very much got the impression that he's probably going to die.
Okay, I hope not.
I hope not too. But I guess
so,
we'll never know unless do we ever see Kroll again? The Swampies?
No.
No,
we're done.
Not recurring.
Not recurring. Okay, so Darko and Romano go back to the TARDIS. We don't see K9. We don't see them hook up the fifth part of the Key of Time. They just leave. End of it. Any other questions?
Well, Doctor, I guess it started when my father never hugged me as a child.
Alright. I don't freaking care if your father hugged you as a child.
Why does Doctor keep handing his scarf to Romana? So this happens multiple
times. Well, they were
times.
jumping through the swamp.
So the first time, they're jumping over the swamp. So he said, I'm going to make this jump. I don't want my scarf to hinder me. So I'm going to hand it to you so it hinders you when you jump.
No. Also, so if I fall into a non-solid portion, you can throw me the scarf and help drag me out of it.
Yes.
So that makes sense.
Yes. And at that point, I agree. It makes sense. But then it happens again later on when he's testing his theory, right? He's running over...
Because, once again, if he's testing his theory and the theory's wrong... She might be able to throw him the scarf and help.
No, because he told her to stay there, and then he left, and he handed... So the assumption is he hands her this scarf because he doesn't want to be constricted, which, why do you wear such a constricting long scarf, first of all? But also, he takes it off because of constriction on the jump, but we've seen him jump before, but also, he's just running outside and touching the thing with the scanner. Why does he need to hand off his scarf to her? It feels like he really values this scarf and he doesn't want it to get damaged. And
I can grow with that.
That's the feeling I
can go with that.
Or also he's like giving her a token. He's like, I'm gonna go test the theory. I might die. Come back.
Right.
Here's
I might die. Goodbye. Which he does say in episode 3.
He didn't hand her a scarf at that point though. But he's kind of pressed
say
on
goodbye.
time.
Yeah.
I guess we should say goodbye now.
Alright, any more questions?
He hands the scarf off to Roman. I wasn't really sure.
Okay, we can't say goodbye. We still have to do season 15, which we've never picked the best episode of.
Nearly 760 years old in the timeline, which I guess he gets younger. We'll talk about that later. My last question, I think. Oh, do we ever see the Doctor scream like that again? Harmonize and break a glass with a high note?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay. It's a very strange one-off thing.
Well, as was mine.
His sounded a lot more alien than yours.
Thank you, I guess. I don't know, but okay.
So they say that the segment gave Kroll, and this might be a spoiler, and this may come up later, but they said that the segment gave Kroll the ability to see the future.
Right, correct.
And they say that the segment had powers. And we know that the segments are very important, but does it kind of like Infinity Stones? That's the vibe I'm getting, is each segment of the key has like a different ability tied to it, kind of like the Infinity Stone of Time and reality.
Not exactly, no.
Okay. That's what it kind of seemed like.
They insinuate that here, but no, not exactly, no.
Cool. That was my last question, I think.
All right.
We'll check. But we also... Go ahead.
Okay, so that's the end of this serial. But we realized that we have not chosen a favorite serial from the previous season, season 15. So even though we're almost done with season 16, so we're going to pick one. Alright, here we go. Alright, these six series.
Remember these? Recap. I remember the horror of Fang Rock.
Right, that's the...
we traveled back to... Wait, no.
This is the...
I'm confused.
What? Alright.
I get this confused with the Monster Peloton for some reason. Now, the horror of Fang Rock was the lighthouse one where Leela's eye colors changed because
which is the one with the
alien race that was always fighting.
Centaurs are always fighting.
Yeah.
You're right.
Even though they never come back. So I guess they
never
lost.
Come back. Right.
I guess they lose that war.
Right, the invisible enemy.
The invisible enemy.
Which was the one with the little microbe that got big and all that crap.
It turned out to be not so invisible.
Yeah.
This one for me is pretty forgettable. I hardly remember that.
All right. Image of the Fendal.
I thought Horror of Fang Rock was very good. Image of the Fendal was... I like the Fendal as an enemy, right? I don't remember that one too much. It's been a while since we've seen these, right? Here it is.
It's been a couple of 2-3 months. But we've done this with much further back episodes before.
Steel Max. Max Steel. Remember Max Steel?
Image of the Fendal isn't bad. Sunmakers was...
This was like the cultists and stuff.
Yeah. Yes. Sunmakers was the little guy with the... we're on Pluto and you can't see the sun and I will make your world what I want to make it and all that crap, you know?
He kind of reminded me of the guy from the Pirate Planet.
Well, the Pirate Planet was later,
yeah, but kind of similar.
Underworld is the one with the Cybermen and the people on the planet of gold that could defeat the Cybermen. The kind of Asian people.
This one was kind of campy.
Yeah. Invasion of Time is that one where you've got those other guys for 4 episodes, and then the potato people.
Centaurans
show up for the last 2 episodes.
Right, they're just Mr. Potato Head.
Alright. Oh my god.
So this one's cool because we're back on
Gallifrey. Right. The best thing of this one to me...
We see the Master again?
Well, no, we don't. The best
I'm thinking of
the best thing of this one to me...
The Deadly Assassin.
...is we see so much of the TARDIS that we've never seen before.
I mean, it's basically just like a throwaway set where they go into like an industrial pool houses and stuff.
So it's bad. But cool. We see innards of the TARDIS we've never seen before.
It's cool that we see more of the TARDIS, but it's kind of disappointing that more of the TARDIS is just warehouses, basically. They don't design any sets for the TARDIS. I like the idea that we get to know different facts about the TARDIS, like it has a botany room and stuff, and the painting room, and just how expansive it is. Also, I thought the sets were kind of disappointing for the TARDIS.
So for season 15, This one sucks.
I think this one was the most forgettable.
Get rid of it. Just
you had the weird green crabby looking germ.
The spawn.
They got real big.
The prawn, yeah.
Prawn. I really like the Horror Fang Rock. I think that was pretty good.
Agreed.
Invasion of Time was very, very good.
It's fun. It's not good. It's not great, but it's fun. This is considered on the low end by the fandom, but it's fun.
I thought
I love the going into the TARDIS. I really do.
I thought the Sunmakers were okay. Image of the Findle was good, but I feel like we visited the cultist thing so many times it kind of fell into like tropes that we've seen before. It didn't really break any new ground.
Alright.
I thought it was good, but probably cross that one off.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Alrighty. And also the Underworld. I like the Underworld.
Okay.
Man, this is hard. Wow.
But no, it's not the best season ever by a long shot.
It's not, but all these 4 episodes are pretty close to each other.
No, I would drop... Oh. I'm going with the Horror Fang Rock for my top pick. No.
Oh, for your top pick. I was going to agree with you on that.
Okay.
I really like the Horror Fang. I thought you were about to vote that off.
No.
We just go ahead and cross all 3 of these off.
Underworld.
Let's start with that one.
Yeah.
And then
the next one. Sunmakers.
That was the one I was going to say next. Was the Sunmakers?
All right. Invasion of Time is
I'd say this is a good second.
It's fun. I love seeing the innards of the TARDIS, but it's not incredibly well done. I think the Horror Fang Rock is better.
I agree. I thought we were going to fight on this because you really like the
No, I love this as a personal favorite.
Too. Yeah, it's
good. But Fang Rock, I have to agree, is better. And sad face. But
I wholly agree. I really like Horror Fang Rock. I really like the characters. The intrigue is very Cthulhu-esque with the lighthouse and the mothy horror that turned out to be the whatchamacallit. So this is our winner.
Croutons and rotons.
Croutons, salad croutons.
Rotons, yeah.
All right, write that down.
Write this down in your stuff. The Horror Fang Rock won season 15.
Season 15.
Because when we do the whole Doctor, we gotta go over that, you know?
I'm really happy with that. I thought that was going to be a much longer discussion.
No.
We totally agree.
I agree with you. I do like the Invasion of Time as a kid watching it and seeing the innards of the TARDIS. I love it. But yeah, it's not as great as it would seem.
I really liked it too, but I don't think it compares to the Horror Fang Rock. I thought that was a really good one.
Agreed. The lighthouse and everyone dies, you know.
Not the best one I've ever seen, but definitely the best one of season 15. At least the most memorable. A lot of those I kind of just forgot about. Especially like the cultist one. The invisible enemy was pretty lame. Yeah, I mean it's okay.
The invisible enemy.
I think I liked all of the Underworld. Yeah. Image of that Findle was kind of it was good, but like we've seen that before. Yeah. No, I'm really happy with that. I agree. The Horror Fang Rock was good. Check. That's okay. I'll just block it with my inverse pawn. Just kidding.
Yeah, your move next week.
It's checkers, right? Is this one kinged? Did you king this checker piece?
What? Your move next week.
You can move backwards, right?
No, you can't.
Did you not king?
You cannot move a pawn backwards.
All right. King me then.
Alright.
Should we update?
Alright. Let me know if you can do Tuesday next week.
We have to do this for prosperity now because I think it got shifted before.
To be fair, wait.
I'm losing very badly.
To be fair, I have used you're doing that on the board to fix what we've not been able to fix.
So now that's my excuse to do it every week now.
No. Alright. Goodbye. See you next week. Alright. Yay.
Next week for the season finale.
Yes, episode 103. Yep.
Any closing statements? Thoughts?
Bye.
Whoa. Oh.